Dr. Samantha Wright stood before the massive crystal doors of the Galactic Tribunal. Her heart beat fast in her chest. Next to her, Admiral Jack Mason kept his face calm, but his tight fists showed his worry. They were the only humans in this giant alien structure that floated in space, far from Earth. "Are you ready?" Samantha asked, her voice barely a whisper. Jack nodded. "As ready as anyone can be when the fate of our entire planet depends on this meeting." The crystal doors slid open without a sound. A blue light poured out from inside. The two humans walked forward, their steps echoing in the vast hall. The tribunal chamber was huge. The ceiling rose up so high it was lost in darkness. 7 tall beings sat at a curved table that looked like it was made from a single piece of glowing stone. Each being was from a different alien race. Some had too many eyes. Some had skin that changed colors. One seemed to be made mostly of light. In the center sat the head judge, a tall, thin alien with silver skin and 3 sets of arms. Its name was impossible for humans to say. "Representatives of Earth," the head judge spoke, its voice deep and somehow inside their minds rather than in the air. "You have been summoned to hear the verdict of the Galactic Tribunal regarding your species." Samantha stepped forward. "We appreciate the opportunity to." "You will not speak." The head judge cut her off. "The time for arguments has passed. The tribunal has reached its decision after studying your planet for the past 50 years. The chamber grew even quieter. Jack placed a supportive hand on Samantha's shoulder. "It is the finding of this tribunal that the human species represents an unusual and concerning anomaly," the head judge continued. "Your kind demonstrates remarkable adaptability and technological progress despite continuous internal conflicts. You advance more rapidly than any species we have encountered in the past 20,000 years." One of the other judges, a round being with purple skin, added, "You went from primitive flight to nuclear weapons in less than 50 years, from basic space travel to quantum computing in less than 100. This rate of advancement is unprecedented and troubling." Samantha wanted to argue that this was something to praise, not fear, but she kept silent as instructed. The head judge raised its many hands. "We have observed your wars, your environmental destruction, and your competitive nature. Yet despite these self-destructive tendencies, you continue to advance and survive against all logical odds." A hologram appeared in the center of the room showing Earth's history. Images of world wars flashed by, followed by scenes of technological breakthroughs and space exploration. "It is therefore the decision of this tribunal that humanity must be contained until we can determine if you will be a beneficial or destructive force in the galactic community." Jack stepped forward. "What does contained mean exactly?" The head judge's silver face showed no emotion. "Earth and your entire solar system will be placed under a seclusion barrier for a period of 200 Earth years. No ships may leave or enter. No communications may pass through. You will be completely isolated from the galactic community." Samantha gasped. 200 years. You're cutting us off from everything we've only just discovered. There are human colonies on Mars now. We have research stations throughout the solar system. Those may continue, said the purple judge, but you may go no further. The barrier will be activated in 30 days. Any human ships outside the solar system at that time will never be allowed to return home. This is not a punishment, the head judge said. It is a precaution. We have seen species like yours before. They often destroy themselves or others. The seclusion will protect both humanity and the galaxy. Jack's face turned red with anger. You have no right. The verdict is final, the head judge said. You will return to Earth and inform your leaders. The barrier will activate in 30 days. This session is ended. The crystal doors opened again. 2 tall alien guards stepped forward, making it clear it was time for the humans to leave. As they were escorted out, Samantha looked at Jack with tears in her eyes. What do we tell everyone back home? Jack's jaw was tight. We tell them the truth, that we've been sentenced to prison by aliens who fear us. But they should have been more afraid. 5 years passed since the seclusion began. The sky looked the same, but everyone on Earth knew they were trapped. The invisible barrier around the solar system kept all ships from going beyond Neptune's orbit. But humans did not give up. Frank Collins walked into the big underground room where the world's new space program was based. People called it the Hive because it was always busy with thousands of workers, day and night. 5 years ago, Frank had been just a space agency director for one country. Now he led the Unified Space Initiative, or USI, which all countries on Earth supported. Director Collins, Dr. Perez wants to see you in Lab 3, said a young assistant who met him at the door. Frank nodded and changed direction. Dr. Olivia Perez was perhaps the smartest person alive. Before the barrier came down, she had studied the alien ships during first contact. She remembered everything she saw, even though the aliens had tried to hide their technology. Lab 3 was the largest room in the Hive. Inside, a strange engine sat on a testing platform. It looked like a silver ball with rings around it that moved in ways that hurt the eyes if you watched too long. "Frank, you're just in time," Olivia said with excitement in her voice. Her dark hair was tied back, and she had not slept in days based on the circles under her eyes. "We're ready for the first full power test." "Will it work?" Frank asked. "In theory, yes. I combined what I saw on the alien ships with some new ideas. This drive doesn't just move through space, it slips between the layers of reality. If it works, we might go faster than the aliens thought possible." Frank smiled. "And maybe find a way through their barrier someday." A door opened on the other side of the lab. Colonel Alan Harris walked in with 5 men and women in new black uniforms. They stood straight and proud. "My team is here to observe," Alan said. "If this engine works, we need to understand how to use it in different situations." Frank nodded. The colonel had been building Earth's new space force, not to fight wars between countries, but to be ready for whatever waited beyond the stars. The tribunal had shown that the galaxy was not always friendly. "Begin the test," Olivia said to her team. The engine's rings started to move faster. The air around it seemed to bend. A soft hum filled the room, growing louder until they could feel it in their chests. "Power at 50%, called a technician. "Everything's stable," said another. "Take it to 75%, Olivia ordered. The hum became a deep sound that made the floor shake. The rings were moving so fast, they looked like one solid shape. "We're seeing space-time distortion," a young scientist shouted with joy. "It's working." Frank watched the data screens. The engine was creating a tiny bubble where the rules of physics changed. It was the first step to building ships that could travel far and fast, maybe even find ways past the barrier someday. "The aliens thought they would keep us stuck here, learning nothing," Alan said quietly to Frank. "But they made a mistake. They gave us a clear enemy and a common goal. Humanity has never been so united." Frank nodded. "In the old days, we fought each other. Now we work together. Countries share resources and knowledge instead of keeping secrets." The tribunal thought seclusion would slow us down. Olivia joined them, her eyes shining. "But we've advanced more in 5 years than in the 50 before. The barrier was the best thing that could have happened to us." On a screen above them, a map showed human settlements on Mars growing larger each month. The mines in the asteroid belt sent more materials to Earth than ever before. The moon base had become a small city. Humanity was expanding inside its prison. 200 years is a long time," Alan said. "But when that barrier comes down, we won't be the same species they locked away. We'll be ready." Frank looked at the engine as its power reached full capacity. "And I almost feel sorry for them when they see what we've become." 30 years into Earth's seclusion, the human ship Pathfinder floated near the edge of the solar system. It was the most advanced vessel humans had ever built, sleek and silver with blue lights running along its sides. Inside the ship, Captain Lisa Rodriguez checked the final readings on her screen. "All systems ready, Captain," said her pilot, Steve Baker. Lisa took a deep breath. "This is Pathfinder to Mars Command. We are prepared to test the phase shift drive. The voice of Director Collins came through after a delay. He was old now, but still led the USI. Proceed with caution, Pathfinder. If this works, it could change everything. Activating phase shift in 3, 2, 1. Lisa pressed the button. The ship hummed and shook. The stars outside seemed to stretch. The plan was simple but dangerous. Dr. Perez had created an engine that might slip through the barrier by shifting slightly out of normal space. No one knew if it would work. For a moment, everything seemed fine. Then alarms blared. Power surge, Steve shouted. The barrier is pushing back. Lisa grabbed her seat as the ship spun. Shut it down. But it was too late. The phase shift drive had torn a hole in the barrier. It wasn't large enough for their ship to pass through, but something else was coming in. Unknown object entering the solar system, called the sensor officer. Through the tear came a small alien ship, smoking and damaged. It tumbled past them, clearly out of control. The rift is closing, Steve said as the barrier repaired itself. Lisa made a quick decision. Follow that ship. It's heading toward Mars. The alien vessel crashed on the red planet 3 hours later. The Pathfinder landed nearby. Lisa led a team in spacesuits across the Martian surface to the crash site. The alien ship was like nothing they had seen before, rounded with what looked like wings that folded into its body. Life signs detected, said the team's doctor. They cut open the damaged door. Inside were 3 aliens with blue skin and large eyes. They looked scared, but not aggressive. We come in peace, Lisa said, though she knew they probably couldn't understand. To everyone's surprise, one of the aliens spoke in broken English. Help, please. The aliens were brought to the Mars Colony Medical Center. They called themselves Zorans. The one who spoke English had been studying human broadcasts that had leaked through the barrier. His name sounded like Kale to human ears. The barrier damaged our ship, Kale explained once he could speak better. We were doing science research nearby. We did not mean to enter your system. Lisa sat with Kale as he recovered. Can you tell us about the outside galaxy? We've been cut off for 30 years. Kale looked around to make sure they were alone. The Tribunal's decision was not popular with all species. Some think it was wrong to isolate you. Can you help us communicate with them? Lisa asked. Kale shook his head. Too dangerous. Tribunal would punish my people. But he hesitated. I can tell you things. Important things. Over the next weeks, the humans repaired the Zoran ship while Kale secretly shared information. He explained that the barrier had weaknesses. He told them about alien politics and which species might be friendly to humans. Most important, Kale said on his last night on Mars, is that many watch Earth with interest. You are not forgotten. Before the Zorans left, Kale gave Lisa a small device. Star maps. Communication codes. Technology data. Hide this well. Lisa held the device carefully. Why are you helping us? Because my people were once isolated too, long ago. And because the Tribunal should not decide the fate of an entire species. Kale put his 6-fingered hand on Lisa's shoulder. When you finally break free, you will find friends waiting. The Zoran ship left Mars the next day, using a gap in the barrier monitoring. As Lisa watched it disappear, she knew that everything had changed. Earth was not alone in its fight for freedom. Mars command to Pathfinder, came Director Collins' voice. Did our alien visitors depart safely? Lisa smiled. Yes, sir. And they left us with a lot more than just good wishes. 70 years had passed since the Tribunal's verdict. Earth was no longer the same world that had been sentenced to seclusion. The old nations still existed, but they all answered to the World Council, which guided humanity's future among the stars. Dr. Ryan Phillips stood at the window of his lab on Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon. Through the thick glass, he could see the massive gas giant filling half the sky. Below him, the human colony spread across the moon's surface, home to almost 50,000 people. The latest test results are ready, said his assistant, bringing him back to the task at hand. Ryan nodded and turned to the sealed room in the center of his lab. Inside, plants of all kinds grew in a complex system that recycled everything. Water, air, waste. Nothing escaped the closed loop. "How long has this ecosystem been running without outside help?" he asked. 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days, his assistant said proudly. "All readings are stable." Ryan smiled. His life's work was finally complete. A truly closed ecosystem that could support human life indefinitely. It was the key to long-distance space travel. "Send word to Chief Engineer Davis on the moon," he said. "Tell her the eco-bubble system is ready for installation in the new ships." Far away on the moon, Maria Davis received the message with satisfaction. The lunar shipyards stretched across a vast crater, hidden from Earth's view. Thousands of workers moved around massive vessels under construction. Unlike the early days of space travel, these ships were built entirely in space, never meant to enter a planet's atmosphere. Maria walked through the largest construction bay, looking up at the nearly finished ship above her. At over a mile long, the Venture was the largest vessel humans had ever built. Its sleek design hid weapons and defenses that no one talked about openly. "How soon can we install Dr. Phillips' eco-bubble system?" she asked her team leader. 2 weeks at most," the woman replied. "Then the Venture will be ready for its shakedown cruise." Maria nodded. "Make it 1 week. The Council is anxious to begin deep solar system operations." That was the official term for missions to the outer edges of the solar system. But Maria and everyone in the shipyards knew the truth. These ships weren't built just to move around inside their cosmic prison. They were built for the day when humanity would challenge the barrier. Back on Earth, in the old city of Geneva, the World Council was in session. The Great Chamber held representatives from every nation. At the center table sat the 7 council leaders, men and women who guided humanity's secret plans. "The Tribunal's monitoring probes will pass through the inner system next month," said Council Leader Abrams. "All facilities must show only approved activities." It was a dance they performed every year. The alien probes came to check on Earth's development. They saw exactly what humans wanted them to see: a civilization focused on its own system, apparently accepting its punishment. What the probes didn't see were the hidden shipyards on the far side of the moon. They didn't detect the military training grounds deep under Mars' surface. They never found the secret research labs scattered through the asteroid belt. "And what of Project Oracle?" asked another council leader. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a massive structure being built in orbit around Neptune, far from the usual patrol routes of the alien probes. "On schedule," said the project director. "The quantum computers are analyzing the barrier's energy patterns. Every time the tribunal adjusts it, we learn more about how it works." Council Leader Abrams nodded with satisfaction. 70 years ago, the tribunal thought they were sentencing us to a prison term. Instead, they gave us time to prepare, united us as never before, and provided a challenge that has driven our greatest achievements. The other leaders raised their glasses in a toast that had become tradition. "To the tribunal," they said together. "May they regret their verdict." Across the solar system, from Mercury's mining operations to the research outposts beyond Pluto, humanity had spread and multiplied. And in hidden places, plans were being made for the day when the stars would no longer be denied to them. 120 years had passed since Earth was cut off from the galaxy. In the darkness of space, far beyond Pluto, a black ship moved silently forward. No lights shone from its surface. No heat escaped to be detected. It was as if a piece of the void itself was moving with purpose. Captain William Reeves stood on the bridge of the Spectre *, watching his crew work. They were the best of humanity's space forces, chosen for this most secret of missions. "Status report," William said quietly. "Cloak is holding at full strength," said his first officer. "No sign of tribunal patrols." William nodded. The cloaking technology was humanity's greatest achievement, reverse engineered from studying the barrier itself. It bent light and energy around the ship, making it nearly impossible to detect. "Prepare for phase jump," William ordered. The crew tensed. This was the moment of greatest danger. To cross the barrier, they would need to shift partially out of normal space, a process that could be detected if any tribunal ships were nearby. "Phase drive charging," the engineer reported. "Ready in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside the viewscreen stretched and twisted. A subtle vibration ran through the ship. Then suddenly, the stars returned to normal. "We're through," the navigator announced. "Position confirmed. We are outside the solar system." A cheer nearly broke out before William held up his hand for silence. They were in dangerous territory now. This was the 8th mission beyond the barrier, and each one pushed further into alien space. Far away, in a hidden base beneath Europa's ice, Alina Morgan received the encoded signal that Spectre had successfully crossed the barrier. Alina was the chief of the Diplomatic Contact Division, a fancy name for the most extensive smuggling operation in human history. "Signal the Zorans," she told her communications officer. "Tell them the meeting is on." The Zorans had been humanity's first alien friends, and now they were Earth's secret link to the wider galaxy. Over the decades, they had helped establish contact with other species who opposed the Tribunal's harsh judgment. 3 days later, the Spectre approached a small reddish planet in a system without a name, just coordinates on their charts. William watched through the viewscreen as his ship docked with a much larger alien vessel. The airlock cycled, and he led a small team aboard. Inside, representatives from 7 different alien species waited in a large chamber. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange William could barely understand what he was seeing. The Zoran leader stepped forward first. "Captain Reeves, welcome to the 9th gathering of the Sovereignty Alliance," the blue-skinned alien said. William bowed as he had been taught. "I bring greetings from Earth and the thanks of humanity for your continued support." The meeting lasted for hours. The humans shared their latest technology, art, medicine, and scientific theories developed in isolation. In return, the aliens provided star charts, technical knowledge, and most importantly, news from across the galaxy. "The Tribunal grows concerned," said a tall, bird-like alien. "Several of their monitoring stations have gone offline near your system. They suspect something, though they have no proof." A squat, furry alien that reminded William of a bear spoke next. "Our people have spread your music and stories to 12 systems now. Many are questioning why a species that creates such beauty was judged so harshly." By the end of the meeting, William had a cargo hold full of alien technology and information. But the most valuable thing he carried back was hope. Earth was not alone in its fight. When the Spectre returned through the barrier, Alina was waiting at the secret dock inside Pluto's moon Charon. "Was the mission a success?" she asked as William stepped off his ship. He handed her a small data crystal. "Better than we hoped. 2 more species have joined the Alliance, and they've helped establish our hidden outpost in the Proxima system." Alina smiled. The plan was working. Across the galaxy, a network of friends and allies was growing. The Tribunal had wanted humanity locked away and forgotten. Instead, human culture, art, and ideas were spreading like seeds among the stars. "Soon," Alina said, looking at the crystal in her hand, "they'll find they can't put us back in our cage, even if they wanted to." 190 years after the Seclusion began, with only 10 years left of the sentence, humanity's careful plans were suddenly in danger. The starship Defiant appeared at the edge of the solar system, moving at dangerous speed. Its hull was damaged, and scorch marks showed it had been in a fight. Commander John Maxwell gripped his chair as the ship shook around him. Half his crew was dead. The rest were injured. "Status of the Tribunal ships?" he asked his sensor officer. "Still following, sir. 3 light minutes behind and closing." John closed his eyes briefly. The mission had gone wrong. Their hidden base in the Centauri system had been discovered by Tribunal enforcers. The Defiant Asterisk had barely escaped, but now they were leading the enemy straight to Earth. "Send the emergency code to Europa Command," John ordered. "Then prepare to make our stand at Neptune." On Earth, in the underground headquarters of the Unified Space Initiative, Director Grace Chen read the emergency message with growing alarm. The room around her was silent as the other leaders of humanity realized what this meant. "They found one of our outposts," Grace said finally. "The Tribunal knows we've been operating outside the barrier." Admiral Larry Wu, head of Earth's Defense Forces, shook his head. "It was always a risk, but we hope to stay hidden until the seclusion ended. The report says the Tribunal enforcers are discussing extending our seclusion indefinitely as punishment," Grace said, her voice tight with anger. "They believe we've broken the terms of our sentence." The room erupted in argument. Some leaders wanted to destroy all evidence of their operations beyond the solar system. Others suggested begging the Tribunal for mercy. Still others called for immediate military action. Grace raised her hand for silence. At 68 years old, she had spent her entire life preparing for humanity's return to the stars. She would not see that dream die now. "We have 3 options," she said calmly. "First, we can reveal everything and throw ourselves on the Tribunal's mercy." "Which they have never shown us," Larry said. "Second, we can try to eliminate all evidence of our operations and accept permanent isolation." An older woman spoke up. "The Tribunal isn't stupid. They'll know we're hiding something." "Or third," Grace continued, "we can show them what humanity has truly become in these 2 centuries." She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed a massive structure in orbit around Neptune. "Project Oracle, humanity's greatest secret. Is it ready?" someone asked. "Nearly," Grace replied. "The question is whether we use it as a weapon or as something else entirely." The debate lasted hours, but in the end, Grace's view prevailed. As the leader of humanity's efforts, the final decision was hers. She would not choose fear or aggression. She had a better plan. Near Neptune, the Defiant Asterisk reached the massive human defense fleet hiding in the shadow of the ice giant. Hundreds of ships moved into formation, weapons ready. The Tribunal enforcers would arrive soon. Commander John Maxwell was brought directly to the command ship after docking. Despite his injuries, he stood at attention before Admiral Wu. "I'm sorry, sir," John said. "We were careless. A routine supply mission, and somehow they detected us." "It's not your fault," the Admiral said. "Perhaps it's even for the best. 200 years is a long time to stay hidden." A message came through from Earth. John watched as the Admiral read it and smiled. "Director Chen has made her decision," Larry announced to his officers. "We will not hide. We will not fight. Instead, we will show the Tribunal exactly what humanity has become." He pointed to the massive oracle structure nearby. "The time has come to activate the device. Send word to all our allies beyond the barrier. Tell them that in 10 days, humanity will change the galaxy forever." John looked out the viewport at the massive human fleet. Each ship was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. They had built all of this while imprisoned in their own solar system. "What will happen when the Tribunal sees all we've accomplished?" he asked. Admiral Wu smiled. "They thought they were punishing us. Instead, they gave us time to become something they never imagined possible." 200 years to the day after Earth's seclusion began, a fleet of Tribunal ships gathered at the edge of the solar system. They had come to witness the scheduled deactivation of the barrier. The Tribunal representatives expected to find a humble, chastened humanity grateful for their release. What they found instead shocked them to their core. As the barrier began to fade, thousands of human ships appeared from behind planets, moons, and asteroids throughout the solar system. They moved in perfect formation, more vessels than the Tribunal had believed possible for a single planet to produce. Admiral Daniel Turner stood on the bridge of the Unity, Earth's flagship. At his command, the human fleet arranged itself in a pattern that was both beautiful and clearly a show of strength. "Open a channel to the tribunal ships," Daniel ordered. The main view screen showed an alien with silver skin and multiple arms, a member of the same species that had sentenced Earth 2 centuries earlier. "This is Admiral Turner of the United Earth Fleet," Daniel said calmly. "We have been expecting you." The alien's eyes widened. This is impossible. Your civilization should not have advanced this far in isolation." Daniel smiled. "Perhaps you underestimated humanity's response to challenges." Near Neptune, the massive structure that was Project Oracle began to glow with blue light. For decades, the best minds on Earth had worked to create something that had only been theoretical to the rest of the galaxy. "We have a demonstration prepared," Daniel continued. "Something to mark humanity's return to the galactic community." At his signal, the Oracle device activated. Space itself seemed to bend and fold. A swirling vortex of light appeared. A controlled wormhole, a door through space that the Tribunal had only dreamed might be possible. Through this impossible doorway came ships of designs the Tribunal had never seen before. 12 different alien fleets emerge, representing species from distant parts of the galaxy. "What is the meaning of this?" the Tribunal representative demanded, fear evident in its voice. From Earth, Director Chen joined the communication. Though old now, her eyes shone with pride. "During our seclusion, we did not simply wait," she explained. "We explored. We made friends. We found other species that your tribunal had isolated or deemed unworthy of galactic membership." A new alien appeared on the screen, tall with 4 arms and green skin. "I am Ambassador Krell of the Varian people. For 3,000 years, the tribunal denied us access to the stars because we were too aggressive. Humanity found us and offered friendship instead of judgment." Another alien joined them. "And I speak for the Nubians. The tribunal said our biology was too different for us to join galactic society. Humans helped us develop technology that allows us to communicate with other species." One by one, representatives of 12 formerly isolated species spoke. Each had been found by human stealth missions. Each had been offered technology, knowledge, and most importantly, respect. "Today," Director Chen announced, "we declare the formation of the Stellar Cooperative, an alliance of civilizations based on mutual advancement and the right of all sentient beings to reach for the stars." The tribunal ships began to back away, clearly unprepared for this turn of events. "You violated your seclusion," the tribunal representative protested. "This is against our ruling." Admiral Turner shook his head. "Your sentence was that no ships could leave or enter our solar system. We obeyed that completely. But these other species, the technology you've clearly shared, we never physically left," Director Chen explained. "We simply found creative solutions, the phase shift technology, the wormholes, all developed within our solar system." The human fleet and their allies moved forward in perfect unison. "The age of the tribunal's unchallenged authority is over," Admiral Turner said firmly. "Humanity was sentenced to seclusion because you feared what we might become. Today, you see those fears were justified, but not in the way you imagined." As the tribunal ships retreated, celebrations broke out across the solar system. On Earth, people filled the streets, looking up at the stars with new eyes. The barrier that had been their prison was gone. The universe was open to them at last, and the galaxy would never be the same again.